Hey folks, welcome to After Our Screen Talk. Let's get right into this non-spoiler review of Weapons, written and directed by Zack Cregger, which is his follow-up to his 2022 horror movie Barbarian, which I loved. I thought it was one of the best horror movies of 2022. So experimental in its style and form, unpredictable, thrilling, really delivered on the horror, and a very smart script. And I was very excited to see what this guy would do next. I know there was a lot of hype. There's been a lot of hype around Weapons since the script was released. If you remember, there was that whole bidding war with various studios trying to get the rights and buy the rights to the script, including Jordan Peele's studio. And I think it finally came to New Line Cinema and Warner Bros. But how is it? Does it deliver? Well, if you've seen the trailer, you probably know the basic premise. There are a bunch of kids, 17 children, that go missing inexplicably in this small town and causes an uproar in the community. This movie has a strong ensemble cast, including Julia Garner, Josh Brolin, Benedict Wong, Austin Abrams, and Alden Ehrenreich, among others, and some fun cameos as well. I'm not going to say too much about the plot or story here because I think the experience of the movie really hinges on its mystery surprise factor, and a lot of the fun for me was trying to put the various puzzle pieces together to figure out the mystery, which I could not often predict. It was very unpredictable, and I thought it was going to go one way, and then it went the complete opposite direction. In that respect, similar to Barbarian, Weapons has a similar narrative structure, non-linear narrative structure. It's told in 6 chapters from the perspective of 6 different characters, and with each chapter, you get a different piece of the puzzle. And so that was a lot of the fun factor for me. Also, surprisingly, this movie introduces some fairy tale elements as well. Kind of made me think of Bring Her Back, similar kind of gritty mystery horror story that also introduced some more fantastical fairy tale themes and threw those into the mix. And actually, in terms of its tone, and its kind of gritty mystery slow burn buildup of tension, Weapons is very similar to Bring Her Back in tone, although Weapons has significantly more humor. I mean, it's not a comedy, it's not a dark comedy, but there are moments of humor and laughter in the movie, and those were definitely calculated. You know, this is not a movie where you laugh at the wrong moments. It's very smart and very much brilliantly balances the humor with the horror. There's like one moment in the film where one of the characters says like, "What the fuck was that?" You know, something like that, which got a rise out of me in the audience, and that's exactly the experience of the movie as you're watching it. It's like, what the fuck is going on here? I love that I didn't know what was going to happen next. Very smart script, good dialogue, great performances. Everyone brings their A game here and really sells their scenes well. Yeah, there's some pretty snappy dialogue in the film. And this town and this community, you get a little lens into it. And, you know, when the children disappear, it tears the community apart. But you also get the sense that, you know, this community was like barely hanging by a thread. Even before this traumatic, horrific event happened, everyone seems kind of estranged or a stranger to each other. And that kind of leads into some of the themes of the movie. It deals with themes of estrangement, abandonment, alienation, being strangers to each other, strangers in our community, but also strangers within our own families as well. I will say that I had a mixed reaction to the third act and ending of the movie. I thought by the end of this movie, my mind was going to be utterly blown, but it wasn't. You know, the movie kind of ends more conventionally and becomes a more conventional, formulaic horror movie than I thought it was leading towards. And so my mind wasn't blown, and I was like, oh, okay. When it's finally revealed what's happening, I was like, oh, that's it. Okay. Well, I've seen that before, and we've seen this before in other horror movies, and there's nothing wrong with doing something more generic and formulaic if it's executed well, and it's executed well here. But I thought the slow burn mystery and the intrigue generated all that setup and build up to lead to something with maybe a little more substance and meat on the bone than this movie left me with. Yeah, it didn't have as much substance to it as I thought. But that said, it definitely holds your interest for its 2 hour plus runtime. It's a smart script, good dialogue, a good ensemble cast. The horror elements are well executed. And it does introduce some kind of, like I said, some like fairy tale esque elements that also made me think of Suspiria a little bit. And I appreciated those elements. They are the more kind of formulaic elements ultimately, but they're integrated into the movie in an interesting way, and they do reflect some of the kind of deeper themes that the film's kind of trying to go for here. It has a generic ending in a way, but it also has gives you that catharsis at the end of it. And definitely, the audience I was with had a good time with that. So it does give you that payoff. It's a good horror movie. I'm not sure how right now how it stacks up for me with Barbarian. I might appreciate Barbarian a little bit more just because Barbarian was for me a lot more unsettling. And just kind of took me to a place, unsettling place, and that was very disturbing. And this film is disturbing in its own fashion too, but also maybe a little more funny. I think it's a great horror movie. I would give this one out of 5 stars, like 3.5 stars. It's a really well crafted, well made, well performed, well executed horror movie, and it's a great second feature film from Cregger. This guy has a lot of talent, and man, I mean, he's a horror auteur at this point, and so yeah, just keep letting this guy do what he wants to do because he's making really really good horror movies. And this is again, despite my minor criticisms, this is a movie I might rewatch again, and maybe I'll have a better opinion of it, a better opinion of the ending. But, as a whole, it was very enjoyable. I mean, I really enjoyed the first two acts of this movie, especially. So, yeah, let me know if you're going to check this one out. Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Yeah, let me know, too, if you've seen Barbarian, too, and what you think of that movie, and if that movie makes you excited for Cregger's new film, Weapons, here. Let me know, let us know. Look forward to more reviews and deep dives from me and my bro Dan coming to you soon. Be well, and we'll see you next time here.